What's up, Wrestle Scope family? And hold on, before you scroll past this video, I need you to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to reveal is going to shake the entire WWE Universe to its core. You heard it right. AJ Lee, the woman who walked away from WWE at the peak of her career, the woman who WWE tried to erase from history, the woman they refused to acknowledge for years, just showed up backstage at Monday Night Raw and had a face-to-face encounter with none other than Rhea Ripley. And let me tell you something, what went down between these two women is not what WWE wants you to know. The mainstream wrestling media is already trying to spin this story, but here at Wrestle Scope, we give you the unfiltered truth. So buckle up, hit that like button right now, and let me tell you why this meeting might be the biggest thing to happen in women's wrestling since the women's revolution itself. The bombshell. Let me paint you the picture of what happened Monday night at Raw. AJ Lee, yes, the three-time Divas champion, the woman who held that title for a combined 406 days, the woman who was legitimately one of the most talented performers to ever step foot in a WWE ring, walked through those backstage doors for the first time in over a decade. Now, before we go any further, let's address the elephant in the room. WWE has been playing this game for years where they pretend like AJ Lee never existed. They scrubbed her from their programming, they minimized her accomplishments, they buried her legacy because she had the audacity to speak out about pay equality and then walked away on her own terms when she married CM Punk. And now, suddenly, after all these years of disrespect, after all these years of pretending like she wasn't one of the pioneers who paved the way for the current generation of women's wrestlers, WWE wants to act like everything is fine? They want to act like they didn't try to delete her from wrestling history? Give me a break. But here's where it gets interesting, and here's where you need to pay attention, because this is where the story takes a turn that nobody is talking about. AJ Lee wasn't at Raw for a publicity stunt. She wasn't there for a reunion show. She wasn't there to make nice with the company that disrespected her for a decade. According to multiple sources backstage, and I mean people who were actually there, not these so-called insiders who make up stories for clicks, AJ Lee was there because WWE finally realized they need her more than she needs them. The encounter. Now let's talk about the meeting that has everyone buzzing. Rhea Ripley, the current women's world champion, the most dominant force in WWE's women's division right now, the woman who has been running roughshod over everyone in her path, she crosses paths with AJ Lee in the backstage area. And let me tell you, the energy in that hallway reportedly changed instantly. Here's what you need to understand about this moment. Rhea Ripley has been cutting promos for months about how she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. She's been telling everyone that nobody can touch her. She's been demolishing legends, destroying current superstars, and basically declaring herself the alpha and omega of women's wrestling. But then she comes face to face with AJ Lee, a woman who actually changed the business, a woman who fought for respect when the Divas division was treated like a bathroom break, a woman who proved that women could main event and draw money when WWE didn't believe it was possible. The tension? Palpable. According to eyewitnesses, when AJ and Rhea locked eyes, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. There was no yelling, no screaming, no physical confrontation, but what happened was something much more intense. It was a meeting of two generations. It was the past facing the present. It was a reckoning. Rhea Ripley, to her credit, reportedly showed AJ respect. But here's what the wrestling media isn't telling you. Sources say that Rhea looked at AJ and said something that has WWE officials panicking behind the scenes. She allegedly told AJ, "You should never have left. We needed you here to finish what you started." Let that sink in for a moment. The current face of WWE's women's division just told a woman who walked away from the company that she needed her. That speaks volumes about what AJ Lee's legacy really means, doesn't it? But AJ's response? That's where this story gets even more interesting. AJ's legendary response. Now I want you to really pay attention to this part because this is where AJ Lee reminded everyone why she was never just another wrestler. She was a game changer. According to people who were present during this encounter, AJ looked at Rhea Ripley with that signature intensity that made her one of the most captivating performers of her generation, and she said something along the lines of, "I didn't leave because I wanted to. I left because I had to. But what you're doing right now, this is exactly what I fought for. Don't let them take it away from you like they tried to take it from me." Chills. Absolute chills. Do you understand the weight of that statement? AJ Lee just passed the torch, but she did it in a way that was both a warning and a show of solidarity. She was telling Rhea, and by extension, every woman in that locker room, that WWE will try to minimize you. They will try to control you. They will try to make you feel like you should be grateful just to be there, even when you're the one putting butts in seats and making them millions of dollars. And you know what the most infuriating part of this entire situation is? WWE is going to try to turn this into a feel-good story. They're going to put out their sanitized version where everything is perfect and everyone is happy, and it's all about respecting the past and honoring legends. But that's not the real story. The real story is that AJ Lee had to leave the company she loved because WWE refused to treat women with the respect they deserved. The real story is that she walked away at the peak of her career because she couldn't stomach the inequality anymore. The real story is that it took WWE almost a decade to even acknowledge her existence again. And now they want to act like they've always appreciated her? Now they want to pretend like they didn't try to punish her for standing up for herself and for every woman in that locker room? The hypocrisy is astounding. The larger implications. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this meeting really means for the future of WWE's women's division. AJ Lee's presence backstage isn't just about nostalgia. It's not just about getting a pop from the crowd. This is about WWE finally recognizing that they made a massive mistake when they let her go. This is about them realizing that the women's division today exists because of pioneers like AJ Lee who refused to accept mediocrity. Think about it. When AJ Lee was wrestling, the Divas matches were given 3 minutes on TV. 3 minutes! She fought for more time. She fought for better storylines. She fought for women to be taken seriously as athletes and performers, not just eye candy. And what happened? WWE pushed back. They resisted. They made her fight for every single second of TV time, for every meaningful storyline, for every ounce of respect. Now fast forward to today. Women are main eventing WrestleMania. Women are headlining premium live events. Women are getting the same opportunities as men. And you know what? That wouldn't have happened without people like AJ Lee laying the groundwork. But here's where I'm going to say something controversial. And I know some of you are going to disagree with me in the comments. And that's fine. That's what the comment section is for. WWE doesn't deserve AJ back. I said it. They don't deserve her. They disrespected her, they minimized her contributions, they tried to erase her from history. And now, just because they need some star power, just because they want to generate buzz, they're suddenly rolling out the red carpet? Where was this energy 5 years ago? Where was this appreciation when AJ was advocating for pay equality? Where was this respect when she was speaking out about the treatment of women in the company? It wasn't there, because WWE only cares about wrestlers when they can profit from them. The Rhea Ripley factor. Now let's talk about Rhea Ripley's role in all of this, because this is where things get really fascinating. Rhea Ripley is in an interesting position right now. She's at the top of the women's division, she's the champion, she's the face of the brand, but she's also facing the same challenges that AJ Lee faced a decade ago. WWE is already starting to book her in ways that prioritize male storylines over her championship. They're already starting to shift focus away from her reign. They're already planting the seeds to potentially minimize her impact. And I think that's exactly why this meeting with AJ Lee was so important. Rhea needed to hear from someone who's been through it. She needed to hear from someone who fought those battles and paid the price for standing up. She needed to understand that the fight for equality and respect in WWE is never over. Because here's the harsh reality that nobody wants to admit. WWE will always default back to their old ways if you let them. They'll give women opportunities when it's convenient, when it generates headlines, when it makes them look progressive. But the moment the spotlight shifts, the moment they think they can get away with it, they'll go right back to treating women as secondary. AJ Lee learned this the hard way, and I think she was warning Rhea not to make the same mistakes. She was telling her to fight for every opportunity, to demand respect, and to never settle for less than what she deserves. What happens next? So now the million-dollar question. What happens next? Is AJ Lee coming back for a match? Is she going to be involved in a storyline? Is this just a one-time appearance, or is it the beginning of something bigger? Honestly, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, the idea of AJ Lee back in a WWE ring is exciting. Imagine the matches she could have with the current roster. AJ versus Rhea, AJ versus Bianca Belair, AJ versus Liv Morgan. The possibilities are endless. But on the other hand, I'm worried that WWE is going to do what WWE always does. They're going to bring her back, use her to generate buzz, maybe give her a couple of moments, and then move on with actually addressing the issues that caused her to leave in the first place. Because let's be real, WWE hasn't actually changed that much. Yes, women get more opportunities now.